Hello and welcome to my breakdown of the Dark Knight Rises footage shown at the MTV Movie Awards. Let's get right to it. Opening scene, John Blake and Selina Kyle. John Blake throws down what looks like a pretty thick rap sheet on Selina. We see a shot of Selina. You look at her wrists. She's got the handcuffs on. So apparently he just caught her and he is interrogating her. The outfit also looks like one we saw on Selina when she seemed to be sneaking out of town in either a train station or an airport. We see a quick shot of Selina after she just stole Bruce Wayne's car. We saw this in one of the TV spots. John Blake is asking her basically why was she so sloppy in allowing herself to get captured, and it makes me wonder, does this mean she was in such a hurry to get away from Bane that she wasn't thinking about the police? Or could this be a part of the movie when she's working with Bane and she allows herself to get captured just so she can spring the prison break? Here's a shot of Bane's lair. It looks very basic. Over on this table, it looks like there's some type of schematics and maybe some blueprints. I wonder if maybe these are blueprints of Gotham's infrastructure. We definitely see plenty of scenes of Bane underground, presumably underneath Gotham, so maybe he had these plans and that's how he sort of picks his spots where he's going to blow something up or how he's going to get around without the cops noticing him. He's got all these containers back here. They look like maybe they're holding weapons or some type of survival gear. And you see he's got some type of scar on his back. So I'm going to guess that that's somehow related to the injury that causes him to wear the mask. We also see this lamp. I'm not really sure if this means anything, but I had one wild theory where Bane sort of funds his operation by robbing people, so maybe this is some type of souvenir from one of his robbery jobs. We see Selina down in a train station, and she's saying, "Don't be shy," in a sexy voice. We don't see who she's talking to. I doubt it's Bane, because I don't think that type of approach would work on him. It's probably Batman. I'll say on Anne Hathaway that the pendulum for most has pretty much swung from suspicion of how is this going to work out to anticipation to see her performance, and for many to see her wardrobe. Here's a shot of Bane's crew underground, and we see there's already a big hole in the wall, but they're still detonating a bomb in that hole. Here we see two of Bane's henchmen standing near a tunnel. There's a huge blockade created mostly out of cars. There's some barbed wire up on top. There are at least 3 police cars in the pile, so we can only imagine how they got those. This whole plan is probably to shut Gotham off from the outside world. Here we see a shot of a burning Gotham, and we see 2 fighter or attack planes going by. So from the prologue, we know that Bane has access to planes. Are these Bane's planes? Or maybe this is an attempt by the military to aid Gotham. If it is the military, Bane strikes me as the type who is prepared for this. He probably has plenty of surface-to-air missiles, so maybe that's what was in some of those cartons down in his lair. Maybe at the start of this scene there were more fighter planes, but Bane's guys shot him down, so these 2 are bugging out. There is a scene in the previous trailer, and in here I think, that shows a couple of missiles going after the Batwing. Now we have a hostage scene. Bane is off to the right, hanging back, sort of looking at what's going on. And you can also see that there's a barricade made out of, looks like office equipment, some desks, that sort of thing. There's a chair in the center of the room, and they're forcing this guy into it. He looks pretty worried, so this looks like one of those scenes where Bane shows the other hostages that they mean business. Here Bane is striking a pose, and we hear "Let the games begin." I wonder if this is actually from that scene in the movie, but I personally like this because I had no idea what Bane was going to say going into this footage, and I had no problem understanding what he said. So I think we can put all concerns about being able to understand Bane's voice to bed. Here's a shot of the Gotham PD. It looks like they're on a all-points bulletin. We'll come back to this in a moment. More of Bane's henchmen walking with a hooded figure, and you can see a little bit of barbed wire off to the side, so It looks like Bane has set up concentration camps within Gotham. Here's a scene, again, which shows Batman and Catwoman clearly working together as they dupe one of Bane's henchmen. This scene looks like it's from Bane's fight with Batman, and I've looked at this a few times. I'm not really sure what's going on. We see these steam puffs, and at first I thought these were bullets, but I've looped through the footage, but the puffs are kind of going, there's one in front of them, a few off to the side. My best guess is that Bane's outfit, or something in the helmet maybe, has an effect on moisture, and maybe that's why he decided to fight Batman in an area that has all this water around it. The Dark Knight Rises, it's at least partially inspired by Frank Miller's Dark Knight Returns story, and this scene with the young and old cop is a lot like a section of that story where Batman makes his first appearance after being away for 10 years. It's not quite word for word, but some of the dialogue is very, very close to what we saw. Here it looks like Batman is still running from the cops and he is trapped on a bridge. We see a spotlight above, so that could be a police helicopter. I'm thinking this might be where we first see the Batwing and Batman uses it to escape. It's either that or he's jumping off the side. Although I don't think he would just leave the Batpod behind. There's also what looks like a motorcycle on the ground beside him, so I'm not really sure what that means. We get a quick shot of Officer Foley shooting an automatic weapon. We have a couple of shots of Selina on the Batpod here, and in this one, if you look off to her right shoulder, over her right shoulder, it looks like she is driving past one of those camo tumblers. So maybe the tumbler was escorting that truck and she's helping Batman attack it. I haven't really talked much about this truck in the past. We've seen it in the last two trailers. Batman definitely seems determined to stop it. In Batman Begins, Ra's al Ghul was trying to take that microwave emitter into the heart of the city. So maybe this is something, not a microwave emitter, but I think maybe this might be similar to that scene where there's a race to either get that thing somewhere in Gotham and Batman is trying to stop it. Then we see Selina using the Batpod to shoot down the cars in that barricade at the tunnel. This is a nice close-up of Bane. Tom Hardy is doing a really good job here of conveying his emotions using pretty much only his eyes and his eyebrows. Here we have Batman turning around to see Bane behind him, and I have a new theory on what goes down in this scene. From the Empire photos, it looks like it's Catwoman who leads Batman down here to what's basically a trap, and I think what happens is she sticks around for the fight and is shocked at two things. Number one, she's shocked to find out that Bruce Wayne is Batman, and number two, she's very shocked at how badly Bane beats him down. We had this shot in the previous trailer of Catwoman looking in what I thought was a prison cell and recoiling at what she sees. But now I actually think this is her looking at what happens as a result of that fight. And we see this hand here. I thought this was her hand, but I think this is Bruce Wayne reaching up after Bane beats him down, and he's either just reaching up, sort of struggling to get away, or he's begging for help. Selina wasn't really prepared for that, and that kind of is a shock to her system, and she backs away. That is pretty much all I can get from that one. On another personal note, I hope that future filmmakers will take a note of what The Dark Knight Rises is doing in terms of their trailers, because I've pretty much analyzed the heck out of this footage, but I still only know a very little bit about what's going on in the movie. That's all, folks. I hope we can stay away from major spoilers between now and July 20th. Thanks for listening.